Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're still alive. We're still here, and it seems as though the world isn't ending. Thank God, and instead, E3 is in fact ending.
No.
Maybe it's for the
Who
best,
could have
man.
seen
I
that
don't.
coming?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yep, that was me.
Oh, there's always the one. There's always the one.
The
He even
ringer
said
didn't
silence.
even.
Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't silence the audio.
Meme stream goes smoothly with no buffering and glitches in the Matrix. Hopefully so. Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I even had you run a internet test just to be sure.
Yeah, just make
It
sure
wasn't
the bandwidth was still good. The download's good. The download's over 200 megabits.
The thing is, it says the audio stream's current bitrate 0 is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend to use an audio stream bitrate of 128 kilobytes.
I thought I set it for that. Go into the audio and you should be able to change that on Streamlabs OBS. I don't know why it does that every single time. It always does something weird. It's whenever it downloads a new version of Streamlabs OBS.
Let's see if we
God.
have questions.
I don't know, it says audio bitrate is 160s.
So yeah, the whole, I don't know. This whole streaming thing, it's bullshit. What do you expect?
I saw you guys' video on the Internet Historian's new thing, whatever.
No Man's Sky.
I was definitely
the
surprised.
engoodening of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it did kind of. It made me feel more for the team. Like, okay, it's not so much that they made an utterly terrible game and sold it wrong. It's that the people that were funding them, like it was Sony or whatever.
Sony was funding them big time,
and was hyping it too high for what they were trying.
Sony was hoping that Hello Games would be like their new, like another like first party developer for them.
I don't know what Sony expected. The team was like half a dozen people. I mean,
Less than that.
Yeah,
At the start, it was 6 people.
Yeah, that's
And,
six is half a dozen.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
Yeah. Fuck.
That would be like.
Fuck my life. I'm gonna go jump off the top of the building now. See y'all later. Channel officially ending now.
Oh,
No.
I have bills to pay.
What do you do for the holidays?
Fuck my life.
I ate and wrote scripts. mostly. Yeah, I just sit there and started pondering ideas and started writing some stuff. And yeah, just took time to myself.
It didn't work. It didn't account on my head being that hard.
Good.
I got a headache now.
I'm planning on walking out of the hallway
Ow.
and seeing a Nate-shaped hole through the brick wall.
Ow.
Nate-shaped hole.
Ow. That hurt.
Like Looney Tunes. So,
Well,
E3 is dying then.
well, yeah, because Sony officially told them no again, and E3's like, please come back. Please, we need you. And Sony's like, nah.
I mean, it's like every game studio, like Bethesda and stuff, they've been doing their stuff kind of separately.
Well, it's because I think they've realized they don't need E3 anymore.
No.
E3 effectively has ran its course by demanding too much from these studios, and these studios have just been like, you know what? We don't got to do this. We're gonna do our own thing.
E3 is a product of the older times. I mean, with everybody able to stream and everything now, there's just no point. Everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's, you can just watch the shit online.
Exactly. And you can, and honestly, you make more of a net profit when you hold your own events versus spending money to go to this event, and thus you're not getting and reaping any benefits from it other than exposure. Don't get me wrong, exposure is a great thing, but it is not everything.
You're literally just cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
E3 is just a middleman, and so there's no. If you don't need to, then don't do it.
I mean, I do agree that, Sony's holding their own press conference, Nintendo's holding their own press conference. A lot of indie game developers that have the budget to do this are holding their own conferences. I do like the idea of having them all come together, though. And that's kind of
you
sadly,
could just.
I don't see it.
I guess you just have
happening,
a normal convention for that, though. E3 just, it's always been. It was always that thing where all the game companies would bring their stuff every year, they wouldn't, be silent. But now, they don't want to have to wait a year cycle, especially with the way people's attention spans are now.
Well,
you don't want to have to do things only once a year at a specific time, especially when. Because the other thing, too, is what's going to happen is if you do all your stuff at E3, well, now you're competing with 10 other game companies and stuff on their products for the attention, as opposed to if you just do your own conference, all the attention is on you. Everybody's just focusing on you.
I mean, it totally makes sense. It's just I kind of like it because it's like a Super Bowl for video games.
Well, it is, but
not a tournament though. It's just more or less,
But instead of it being like a Super Bowl where you're getting paid exorbitant amounts of money to literally play a game. Instead, you're paying it'd be like you paying the Super Bowl tens of millions of dollars for all of this space and all this exposure, and they give you literally nothing in return. Because that's how it's been at E3 for the longest time.
They should definitely be giving people the cut.
It's
if you're
too
having
little
somebody
too late, though,
impressive
man.
as Sony come in there, they should be giving Sony some cut too.
It's too little too late, though. E3 wouldn't do that. And for the last 5 years, Sony's just been like, you know what? We're sick of this shit. We're going to start doing our own stuff and holding stuff back from E3. And they started doing that, and it's been massively successful. The last time they had a full showing at E3 was when God of War was announced. Mm-hmm. That was it. And then after that, they were just like
scored playthrough. That was epic.
Oh yeah, and Bear McCreary killed it. I mean, he always does. But with
I know, people like my friend Keith, he'll literally take a week off of work to watch E3. It's not uncommon for people to take vacation time to kick back and watch E3.
But now instead of having to have everything encompassed in 1 week or one weekend, instead now these companies can plan out and announce dates that are comfortable for them. Dates when they are comfortable with the demos and the stuff to be announced and hold their own stuff.
I will say the thing I do like about E3 is kind of what you're saying, where you can see all of the new game trailers at one time. You don't have to get a new game trailer here, a new thing there. It's not as epic as seeing all this new shit that's going to be coming in the next year or so.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that aspect too.
Of it too. I mean, they got entertainment, they got live bands. I like the festivities of it too. And that nothing brings more people in than a big reveal trailer of their favorite games. But yeah, sadly, it's like you said. I mean, it can't be cheap. That's a huge facility.
PC upgrade time, says Logan. Well, if you were tuning in last week, which I think you were, you saw us upgrade Roan's PC, which we tried to upgrade more parts of it today, but then...
Yeah, I tried to put the CPU fan on there, but apparently I got the wrong size.
Well, his new board is an LGA 2066, and the highest that one goes up to is an LGA 1151, which is the former standard, but it is no longer. I guess it's because it's the new chipset, the i9 chipset.
Maybe I didn't I guess I just did when I was on Amazon. I wasn't looking for that specific thing on the board.
If anything, go to PCPartPicker.com and then put in the processor that you have. Mm-hmm. And then they will give you the CPU coolers that will fit, because they have compatibility mode, which will tell you, hey, if you get this one, you need an adapter set, or if you get this one or that. And then, of course, they have the ones that completely go on, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. And by that, that's basically what I had to do with my AM4 with my Ryzen chipset, because Ryzen, where it was AM4, regular AMD AMD coolers would not fit at all. So
3 Plus won't fit it.
Yeah, and thus you have to look for what will fit, in which most places nowadays, most fan and cooler manufacturers, Noctua, Be Quiet, Cooler Master, they always will keep everything up to date. But where Intel launched the i9 series so quickly just to try and compete with the Threadripper and the Ryzen 7 chipset, they shit the bed because they didn't give manufacturers enough time to build third-party stuff at a comfortable rate. Whereas Ryzen, when they announced their stuff, they gave these manufacturers 6 to 8 months to build stuff. Whereas all of a sudden Intel's just like, here's a new chipset. And it's like, but it's not. But we just got done making it. Don't care. We got to put it out now. We got to stay competitive with it with AMD.
Well, has that been kind of sorted out by now, as far as
for the most part, yes. But
I didn't get the wrong card.
No, you didn't get the wrong. No, that's you got a great chip. You got the i9, which is the new top of the line standardized chipset.
Right.
However, where they announced it so quick, it's a lot like when Sony did the PS2, and they did not license out third-party manufacturers to make memory cards. Sony couldn't keep up with the demand for memory cards, and there was a great memory card shortage for about 3 to 4 months, and nobody could buy a memory card. Yes, they were.
That was always a game of fumbling. Like, okay, I got this because it was only like 64 megabytes or something for the cards. And so always,
I remember getting
like 10 of those.
Yeah, I remember getting a special one right before the drought. I got one that was like 32 megs, a 32 megabyte memory card. That's how small it was back then. And then I got that, and I remembered as soon as I got that, my friend Andrew, he went to try and get a new one, and he couldn't. And he had all these game files. He's like, dude, can you bring yours over? I want to store some of my game files on there, please. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. Don't worry, it won't take up that much space, I promise.
When you're that deep into like a Final Fantasy game and you're like,
he was huge.
You're like,
He was huge into Final Fantasy at that point, dude. He was like Final Fantasy 10.
Please don't lose my save, dude.
Final Fantasy 10. He was in deep on that.
And you can do one sit through.
No, you cannot. And with
not
that,
the first time playing it using no walkthrough tutorials. I mean,
exactly.
Like people, I'll see people like beat like certain games in like one setting, like a Final Fantasy game, and it's like, yeah, you've done that before. If you're beating it all in like one sitting real quick, but normally nah. Like,
and also
take me like a week to
I
beat.
beat Arkham Asylum in one sitting on my first playthrough of it.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I love the games where you can, but like Final Fantasy was not one of those games.
No,
see, I couldn't just do that though. I like to look around, like when in games and stuff. I like looking around at the environments. And,
well, there's moments where I do that.
Like, hell, I haven't. GTA 5's been out for what 6-7 years now, and I haven't even like explored.
Dude, there's people still finding stuff in that game, even here almost a decade later. I mean, people are still finding shit in that game, and it's amazing. Just the level of depth Rockstar went into with that game is unbelievable. And yeah, every time that one comes on, I always think about that one movie, All About the Benjamins. Did you ever see it? It was Ice Cube and Mike Epps.
I've heard of it.
And during one point, Mike Epps' character, he's sitting there with his girlfriend, played by Eva Mendes, and he's just like bragging about how, I got in a fight earlier, baby, and they came up to me and they hit me in the head like 3 or 4 times. I came back, I like swiped and took out 5 or 6 of them. Man, you should have seen me. I was like an animal, baby. And she's like, baby, you can't fight for shit. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He's like, girl, don't talk shit. I don't know shit. No, I'm not there trying to get it done. And these people come up here trying to whip my ass. I don't even know what I've been through today. And she's like, did you get the lottery ticket? He's like, yeah, I got the lottery ticket. Did you play my numbers? Yeah, I played your numbers. And then she's like, okay, because it's on right now. I need to know. And then they start playing the numbers, and meanwhile he's in the background like looking out the window trying to see if anyone else is coming for him. And then she's sitting there, and the imagery is beautiful because she's sitting there in the background, and you're seeing her like get more and more excited, like she's amping up. And then as soon as the final number hits, she's just like, baby. And then they look over, they won, and she's like, let me see the ticket. I want it, let's see it. And he's like, he realizes he's got to go back. He realizes he's got to go back to where he got his ass kicked the last time just to get the lottery ticket back. And then Ice Cube's a bounty hunter tracking him down, and as soon as he leaves his front door, Ice Cube tackles his ass. And he's like, come on, man. I'm a millionaire. I'll pay you all sorts of money. Just let me go. He's like, yeah, right. Yeah, dime store hustler is a millionaire. I believe it when I see it, motherfucker.
I haven't seen that.
It's funny. It's very funny.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. But, you see, we talked about this. If one of us ever won the lottery, I'd pretty much just be like, everyone gets everything for free.
Yeah. Be like Oprah.
It's like you get a prime lens set. You get a new premium like PC that can run anything and everything that you want.
A supercomputer.
Oh yeah.
The only step up. The only step up from there is to like literally set up a data center for me to operate from which would be good for rendering.
Well, yeah, like a massive cloud-based server to where you can pretty much render from anything at all.
My computer was already so good as it was before we upgraded that like I haven't I took your advice and I didn't do any like heavy rendering anything, but I didn't know because of all the other stuff. I didn't really notice any huge improvement as it was. I'm just glad that I got the new parts. So
Well, no, the new parts.
Catch
I
fire
mean,
on
well, with the more cores, you'll find processing a lot easier. That's a numero
that's the
uno
thing.
right
Like
there.
I don't know if it's just because I can do it and I'm not like normal people, but I'll have like After Effects and Illustrator and a couple
High
3D
pri- yeah, high
I
priority.
do the
open
same
and
thing
stuff.
too. I'll have Premiere, I'll have After Effects, I'll have Photoshop, and
Yeah,
then
I
a
have
web
all
browser
the-
with like 30 tabs
30
going on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
So, I don't know if that's a normal thing that like your consumer grade computer can do.
I
having all that shit
mean,
open,
most
but-
people don't do. I mean, most like video editors and animators
They're gonna have
and
their
video
own
game
custom
designers and
builds.
people that do stuff are gonna have a lot of tabs. Yeah,
So
work. You know,
When I'm doing like when I need research and stuff, I got all the Google shit open.
I'm looking in here at the comment section. Logan's wondering which VR headset to get. I cannot specify which one is better, but I can tell you the one that we've got and we've had a lot of fun with. The Oculus Rift S. We've had a lot of fun with it. Although the new Steam or the Valve what's it called? It's the new one by Valve. It costs about 3 times as much as the Oculus Rift S. So
damn,
I'd be careful with that.
that's a lot of money.
Exactly.
$1,200.
Like
And
$1,400.
these things update like so often. Like I mean, you spend that much money, and then next month they've got a new.
Yes.
They'll have a new
Is
headset
that-
come out.
I'm
that's even
assuming.
better.
I'm assuming you get Half-Life at least.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you get
You'll get Half-Life
Vi-
2.9 and 2.9.5 and 2.9.5.5, but you'll never get Half-Life 3.
Well, the one that's coming out is Half-Life Alex.
I'm hoping what this is like they're trying to like.
Poke.
Yeah, they're trying to put their toes in the water to see is it worth trying to.
Well,
crowd,
it's gonna. Well,
It's been so many years. Is it
crowd
worth
goes
trying to-
wild.
it doesn't matter if the game is going to be bad. People are going to play it because they want more Half-Life. That's the point. That's just like one reason why. What was it? Catch the Freeman came out a couple years ago by this indie studio that used Valve like the Source engine to create a Half-Life-esque game, and it was a huge success. But the game was absolute shit. That's the thing. That's how desperate people are for more Half-Life. It's been 13 years, guys. No, I'm sorry. It's been 15
I'm
years.
surprised we haven't had like more independent makers. Just like because like there's that Halo thing that was like a Halo clone that people made or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised we
Talking
haven't
about the
gotten.
Unreal 4 clones and stuff.
No, like it like literally Halo. I think what do they call it? It's what's. Fucking, I'm trying to remember what the fucking name of it is.
Halo Wars?
No, not the it's literally Halo, like Halo 2 whatever. Like they have almost like all the assets are almost identical to it, but it's like an indie developer put it together. I gotta look on Steam and figure out what the name
I
is.
call that a knockoff typically.
It's basically a knockoff. It's like a fan created type thing. I don't think
Well,
they're making any money off
There's
it.
well, the thing is with the Half-Life Alex, Steam is co-developing it, but they're only doing like patchwork and story elements and stuff like that. The ones who are mainly developing it are the same people who did Firewatch and have a lot of experience in the VR realm.
Okay.
They have a lot of experience in VR, and
I love that bit in the trailer where like the dude's like, here's a gun or whatever. Don't worry, it's not loaded, and he throws it at Lance on the hood and bang, shoots them all. Okay, now it's not loaded.
Jesus, yeah. Well, VR. I mean, it's finally able to go to the level that it's at now because the technology is getting better and better and better. I mean, now they've got OLEDs in the eyepieces, and they're actually able to do 144 hertz, which is unbelievable. Because that's the Valve Index. That's one of its claims to fame is that it can actually do 144 hertz. It's experimental, but it can do 120 solid, like 120 all the way through.
You should see all the experimental mods they have in Unreal.
Oh,
Like,
God.
If you go to Epic on the tab thing and just look down at some of the different mods for Unreal, holy crap. Like, I don't even know, like, there's people that have no life, and then there's people that have no life and make good money. And these
Wait a
people
second.
have to be making good money to make some of these
There's
mods.
no-
'cause, like, there's no way, like, how do
Wait,
you just
what?
think of that stuff?
You serious?
A lot of coding.
Okay. Hey, Nick. Can you add the link again in the description to for the donations and the memes? Because it looks like it's not on here for some reason, which is weird.
2 donations.
I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see what the hell's wrong because, yeah, it's like our Patreon's the top. This is so weird, man.
They found it in another stream. That's how their their donations.
Fucking hell. Maybe that's the reason why it's been so weird.
Shit.
It hasn't been working properly. Thank you for that, Abby, because that's just...
It's getting to a point where everything is so interconnected that it's become a jumbled mess.
Yeah, it is, and you see, I hate it when they update stuff and they're like, okay, we send you this fresh new update. It's like, okay, thank you.
Too bad.
Where's all my stuff? Where's all my stuff? What happened?
A dozen other things.
Yeah, it's like, where's all my stuff at? What happened? They're like, oh, we forgot to tell you. It's like, now you tell me. Now you freaking tell me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And no takebacks.
Renegade Media Group.
Yeah.
/ Renegade Media Group.
Yeah. It should be in Streamlabs, or it should be in the Streamlabs thing on the Streamlabs website. Under the dashboard.
Refresh and see if it's there now.
Do you guys see the?
If you want to submit it in the chat, just so they can have a way to do it for now.
You guys see the video of the plane in Iran getting shut up?
Of course, dude. I mean, come on. That's been one of the biggest news stories. And hey, there it goes. So that's been one of the biggest news stories. And the thing is, dude, I honestly don't know what to make of what's going on in the Middle East. If anything, like, I'm still more on the side of we just need to get the hell out of there and let the area sort itself out. Because truth be told, if they want democracy, they'll take democracy. And as much as we want to be the world's purveyor of democracy, instead we're seen as the world's purveyor of bullish war tactics and all that, which is not cool. Not cool by any stretch of the imagination.
And I think it's a shitty thing. It's a terrible fucking thing that happened. But
oh yeah,
I at least for me, when I look at these things, I always look at them objectively, or I try and look at it objectively, and I completely understand why that happened. Because Iran is firing missiles at U.S. bases, and they just see a plane that they don't know, they can't identify. What do they expect? They are probably thinking that it's a U.S. bomber coming into.
You know what the interesting thing is, though, dude? You know what the interesting thing is about the missiles that they used? The missiles that they used were made by the Russians. So a Russian missile shot down a Ukrainian plane. Although the missiles were shot by Iran.
It would have been worse if it was like one of the old U.S. weapons and stuff that we gave Iran back in the day.
They've already used those. They used those by the 90s. They, dude, that's the funny thing about the ones in Iraq. Whenever you remember that imagery of like the anti-air guns shooting at the planes overhead during the bombing of Baghdad in '91. Those anti-air guns were American.
Of course they were.
And the bullets in them were American. So American guns were shooting at American planes over top of a foreign country. It's hilarious. It's hilariously ironic.
Yeah, we have the same. So what'll happen is Saudi Arabia, because we've been throwing them plenty of weapons, I'm sure in 5 to 10 years we'll invade their country too, because that's what we fucking need to do, is invade another Middle Eastern country and fight them with
destabilize the Middle East even more, because that seems to be the answer to everything. Okay, so how many memes we got now, Nick? 3 or 4?
Oh dear, let me see. The memes.
The memes. The dankest of memes. 5? All right.
Let's do it.
Play them up.
I mean, I could do all 5 in a row. I have to take a break for a second.
Okay. All right.
First one's from... Wait. That's not the first one. Okay. First one's from Freelancer Dan.
Thank you, Freelancer Dan. Freelancer Dan.
Apparently from last week, I guess.
The hero man. Oh, okay.
Well, we did get 20 memes or whatever by the end.
Yeah, we did most of them, but
we missed one from last week from Freelancer Dan.
Oops.
$1.20 donation.
Okay.
So we're gonna play that one.
Play it up.
Play it up, player.
Do you want to take it? No, you can tell.
Oh gosh.
Somebody take it. Yesterday, we were filming some things. We were downtown. We were in downtown Austin filming. and we were on like a walking bridge. Is that what you call them? Just like
Footbridge.
Footbridge.
It was pedestrians, walking, and bicycles.
And that's all that's allowed on there. This is important.
Apparently, I don't know this.
Right, we're just going off of what this guy said.
The rules of the bridge.
But so we're standing there, we're filming something. Guys got the camera, and then this guy, we hear a guy going, "Hey, hey!" There's this dude on a bike, big sun hat on.
You can't have that here.
You can't have that. That's not allowed
That's
here.
not allowed.
And it's some girl riding on a scooter. There's like sit-on scooters now. It looks like a moped or like a Vespa.
Yeah, they're all over the town.
You know, she's like cruising up thing. He's like, "Hey, can't have that here. You can't do that here." No, and she just like kept going. And just nothing. Just kind of puttering along. And the guy goes, "Man," he turns to the person next to him on another bike. He's like, "Austin used to be a good place before, we had dorks like that around."
This is all happening like as we're doing the shot.
As we're doing the shot. And Michael's like,
God.
"Did you hear that guy with the door?" I was like, "Slammed him. That was murder right there."
Yeah, tell him to go shut up.
And the guy goes, "Oh, man. All right, let's continue the tour." And he's got a bunch of people on bikes behind. He's leading the tour.
God.
All right, back to the cool part of Austin. And
There's like a real rift between the bike tour people and the dorks on Vespas.
Driving from location to location, I was riding in Jack's car, and we saw that dork like every time we moved. Same dork, that's dork. Right around.
Jeremy and I were dorking all day.
no, dude, there was
Like,
a lot of dorks thrown around.
dorks on here today.
About to that tractor that was at our shoot just randomly kept going up there and
Was he just like driving
he
by,
was
just
just
like?
mowing the damn pavement, going up and down the street in this loud ass tractor, and we're sitting there like, "Hold for Sam."
And then you have to stare at him.
We
He-
all turned and stared at him.
Hey, I guarantee this is what he was like to you. You were just staring at him, and he was like,
No, that fucker was going like 2 miles an hour. Well, the thing about it is he goes up the road a little bit and turns around and just comes back. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
That's called.
he's like, "I'm mowing the air, son.
mowing
It's
the
my
damn
property."
pavement.
That's
Like,
that's called. He doesn't like people with cameras, and he wants you to
Yeah,
fuck
guarantee
right
he's
off.
probably
like-
he's probably one of those Alex Jones
People trying to make
lovers
movies.
who's just like he's like,
It's
"If you
conspiracy.
see anyone out there with a camera, you need to get out there.
It's
You
the
need to cause
FBI.
a distraction, cause a disruption. You need to make sure that they know that your property is not to be filmed." What about if they're not filming my property and they're filming something else?
Sapp-
Doesn't matter. They got a camera. They're out there trying to film.
Well, we had
Beeman-
full permission to be filming there too. Like the owners were aware that there was gonna be a film crew there filming, so it was like,
I guarantee.
Why did
maybe
you tell them
he
that?
wanted to be part of it. Maybe they wanted you to turn it around on him, and he'll just be there like,
No.
"Oh, hello
bet-
there. I didn't notice you."
I bet if I'm in
notice
this,
there's only like 15, 16 people over here.
I bet if I'm in this film shoot, I have to get paid. That's what everybody thought.
Yeah, guaranteed. But all right, what's the next meme there, Nick?
Alright, so the next one is from the cooler freelancer Dan, and he says, "I was the one who beat you to it on that donation on previous meme stream, and it was I, Dio."
Oh no!
$5 donation.
Damn it,
Straight up calling out freelancer Dan with his donation.
freelancer Dan, you have been called out. You gonna take that laying down, son? Damn, that boy thick.
I can't come to dinner. I got the rent. I gotta go. Maybe just a salad and yeah, some rice cakes.
Jesus Christ. This is called somebody finding the distortion effect in After Effects and having fun with it.
Wham!
Jesus.
Yeah, it's fun. All the crazy effects that you can just kind of
Oh yeah, you can do that shit in
How can we take this
audition.
movie and just like
Completely
wreck
destroy it. Yeah.
I mean, you can do that shit in audition, right? For the audio.
audio?
Yeah, to, like just completely like just auto set to do like that crazy ass.
You can do that in most DAWs, though. I mean, you can just like Reaper, Pro Tools, and everything.
you can
But
probably do it in
Audition
Premiere
comes with a bunch of preset ones that are already really good, like de-essers and stuff like that.
All right, what's your next?
Preset EQs.
All right, what's the next meme there, Nick? Uh-oh.
Next one's from Sony Don't Need E3.
Ha!
Donated
Fair enough.
$5 and says sums up how other gaming companies react about it.
I wish! The savages to the east are refusing to come to E3! Which ones? I'll give you one guess. Hola! Sneaking!
Yeah, I remember this. This is
I received word that you will not be attending E3. I can only assume something was lost in translation. Nothing has been mistranslated. We are not attending. You cannot make us. Listen here, Chuck. Sooner or later, the game's going to figure out that we don't have any good new games, and never will. Our only hope is to keep their hatred aimed at each other with E3. Our gamers are well fed, and we still have the rest of us too. Everything is fine. The rest of us too won't last forever. Go and do your cereal bread and circus with the Nintendo. But Nintendo's gay. This is a disaster, Cincinnatius. Now E3 has to be good. When it all gets so complicated.
I got an idea. Use Phil Spencer. The guy has good ideas. Oh wait, they already have been, and he's actually helped the company have a big turnaround when it comes to gaming.
Your tongue, Cincinnatius. No, I'm afraid it must all ride on Philip now. I don't know what to do. He has to. Ladies and gentlemen.
Phil Spencer. Sup?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Keanu Reeves.
I love games. I play lots of games.
Yeah, that was the
Oh, I can see all that.
it gets pretty damn funny and pretty damn ridiculous. Phil Spencer is the one. If you ask me, Phil Spencer should have been the one running Xbox when they did the Xbox One, because he wouldn't have let them get away with the DRM bullshit. Because it was right after they announced that, and after Xbox effectively cleaned house.
The easiest victory for Sony ever.
Yes, it was.
They were just like,
Sony won. Sony won.
It was not that.
Sony won last gaming generation just off of first impressions alone. I mean, and also first-party games alone too. I mean, because look at their catalog that they came out with, dude.
I'll be right back.
Huh?
He's
Be right back.
Oh yeah, he's got a Nick. Nick is currently going to be stepping away from the production console because he is going to be helping a friend load up a drum shield. That's right.
You want to set on fire while he's gone? We can do
You thought you'd never ask. All right.
it. I'll get the gasoline.
I'll get the dynamite.
Turn the screen.
Yeah, I feel like Keanu Reeves is kind of at the point, like with all the John Wick movies and everything, where you could just like, you could just like show him, or like put him on
kinda
stage,
what happened,
and you'll
though.
get
Well,
like,
no,
you'll
they
get
actually
applause and
announced
cheers
that
and
he
stuff.
was going to be in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Which here's the thing about CD Projekt
Which is pretty
Red.
fucking cool.
No,
Like,
that is cool. I mean, he's also playing a very pivotal character in the Cyberpunk universe, Johnny Silverarm, who is like one of the like main protagonists of the original novels, or of the not novels, but novels plus like the original like games that Hightower came up with.
Anything about Cyberpunk.
Well, it's fine.
When does Cyberpunk come out?
August or April.
Is
sorry.
it come? It's coming on the current generation, right?
Yeah, current generation and PC, which is why I'm trying to get a better graphics card because I know the one I've got is going to melt
Yeah,
the very moment I try and
get it
play
on
something
PC.
up.
I won't mess with.
Huh?
I won't mess with Xbox. I'll just get it on PC.
Yeah, oh dude, get it on PC.
My PC
and
at this point can do whatever the fuck I want it to.
oh, of course, because you got a 9.9 in there now, and plus you've got a 1080,
I
which
can,
is
I can actually probably travel in time with it.
Yeah, like
128 gigs of RAM.
oh yeah, 128 gigs of RAM and
I
all the
almost
goodies.
I had almost gotten a motherboard. It was going to be a MSI creator board that would have been 256 gigs of RAM, but it ended up being a little bit too much price wise. It was like a couple $100 extra. But
What will you do with all that RAM?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean honestly, I
you
don't
gonna do
I don't
with all
really
that
know.
RAM?
Even
All that
with
RAM.
editing and
I'm gonna get
rendering and stuff, I don't even know if it would even use that much RAM because a lot of it comes down to the core processors too. It's not even just about the RAM.
Processor, it'll max it out no matter what you got.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it'll be really, your render times will be super fast.
because of more cores.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like
Faster
but you can only go
goes,
so
less heat,
far with
too.
cores. Like the more cores you have, then the more you can.
Well, yeah, the
do,
more
but,
image processing, the more like video processing.
But like I've
the
had
better
times
it is.
where like I'm rendering, the RAM will only be at like 30 or 40%.
Yes. Well, yeah, but plus you've got DDR4 now, which is it can crank up to 3200. Yeah, 3200.
I need to go into
megahertz.
settings and see because obviously.
Yeah, you can go into the BIOS. You can go into the
I haven't messed with any settings to like to really kick this thing up.
Yeah, go into the BIOS and if the RAM isn't cranked up to 3200, crank it up to 3200. Keep the voltage the same. Keep everything the same on the processor for now because we still got the stock cooler on there.
There's been times in the past that I've done it like I've gone in BIOS and put it into like performance mode and it's overheated before.
Yeah,
So-
don't do performance mode because performance mode, that's if you are water cooling.
Oh, okay.
That's if you're like fully water cooling the block, the RAM, everything.
Okay.
That's dangerous.
Well, because we tried to put we got a CPU cooler for a fan from the new motherboard because I had to order that. We tried putting it in, but it didn't work. It was the wrong size. So I'm gonna order a different one. Should I get a water cooled?
No, for this one, for how your case is and everything.
They are compact.
They are compact,
Very
but even
compact.
with his case where he's got his fans up there and everything.
Yeah. Oh, your fans are on top?
No, well, yeah, they're
There's
on
two
top.
fans
You
on
just gotta
top,
have a
one on
spot
the
for
back.
your radiator.
Yeah, which given which that's the problem though, because there's not as much space. Because usually there's about this much space between the top of the case and the motherboard.
Yeah.
Instead of this much space, there's like that much space.
Yeah.
So the radiator plus the fans would actually cover up the top part of the motherboard, and you wouldn't be able to reach in there and do any
That would be a
like,
problem.
yeah.
I always put radiators in the back.
Yeah, either that or there's a lot of options that you can do whenever you got a case for it, but where your case is actually a little bit older, it's not properly made for what for like the more modern sensibilities. That's
Compared to
come along
everything
the last
else,
5 years.
Compared to everything else, the case is like buying a new case is actually pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, it is by comparison. It's just getting everything out, put back in, reconfigured. That takes time.
yeah,
it's just
it
like
might be-
what we had to do with Jake's.
Yeah, it might be worth looking at getting a new case because I mean that case is like everything else. I got it 7.5 years ago.
Yeah, and a new case can never hurt. I mean, that's just like me. I'm looking at getting a new case for my PC because don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I can carry mine around and I can carry mine around if I want to, but at the same time, I don't plan on carrying it around anywhere because it's not necessary. It's completely unnecessary for me to do that.
No, sorry for sidetracking us. What were we talking about?
No, it's fine.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah. Everything good, Nick? Okay, cool. So, Keanu Reeves, the thing with him is he's he is a gamer, and he is he's putting himself out there more and more as like a pop culture icon. And
Like, I mean, he literally has the I'm Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's like, I am Keanu Reeves,
I mean, he
about to
literally.
be mortals.
I'm surprised they haven't made like Jesus movies with him in it. Like it's
Well, number one, he's not a Christian. He's
that's
actually a
fine.
Buddhist.
Yeah,
He was
he's
raised
an actor,
Buddhist.
so it doesn't matter.
Well, for the longest time, he identified as like agnostic. He was unsure, but as he's gotten older, he's more and more identified with how he was raised, Buddhism and all that. Because his father, I believe, was Buddhist.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I mean, how he chooses to live his life is up to him. Me, I love the guy no matter what religion he believes. I mean, hell. I mean, I love the hell out of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and they're both atheists. I love the hell out of Edgar Wright as a director. He's an atheist.
Yeah,
I love the
really.
shit out of Mike Nelson
I'm an
from Mystery
atheist, so
Science
I
Theater
really don't
3000,
care.
and he's a Christian. I mean, he's
what
like
about
a
Tom
hard-edge
Cruise?
Christian. Tom Cruise is a fucking Scientologist. I love him too.
Yeah, Of course he is. Sure.
Well, he's a quote unquote Scientologist, but I don't care what
real.
Well, God.
I think that's a gimmick for
It is. It's a tax dodge. It's a tax dodge. It's all it is. It's like the satanic church. It's like the satanic temple. It is a pure tax dodge tactic.
Actually, they didn't get any taxes from it. they got refused that for like years.
Well,
they just
how it goes.
they just now got it like this year finally, but like they had to fight for it for a while. And that was kind of the whole example.
Freedom of religion.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what you got next,
Nick, what's
Sarah?
next?
I'm not sure if this is going to be a problem to play or not.
If you think so, you can. You
So
can.
The trailer for Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kazuna. It's coming out 2020. English subs.
Does it have nudity?
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's anime basically. And
Oh.
that kind of stuff.
If you want to play it just in case, go for it. But if you think it's gonna get hit, you can just
No fucking clue, man. You know
go. If I'll yell cut. I'll yell cut it if I think it'll get us hit.
終わり。俺大学行かないと。
I got this English dub and it's obviously sucked.
No, it says English sub.
昔のままじゃいられないだろう。仲間と疎遠になる。
Sora, Joe, Mimi.
みんなはなぜ
Agumon?
パートナーに子供たちが選ばれ
I can't remember any of the Digimon.
Now, yeah, was Digimon like just like a knockoff of Pokemon?
No.
or-
No, it
Completely different.
It has its own version of doing
デジモン
stuff.
とのパートナー関係は
Now, Digimon was actually really good.
Oh God,
I
no.
remember it being pretty good. I just can't remember much.
I barely know anything about Pokemon, so I'm sure don't know anything about Digimon.
選ばれし子供たちの意識を奪う手順
That
やめなさ
Digimon
い
was so
無
fun.
理な戦闘はパートナーとの別れを早め
Is
る
this a remake of the first movie?
No, this is actually a
Like where the
complete.
internet-
This is like the end of the first era of the Digidestined. Because
つけようみんなを
Ty and Matt.
行くぞみんな
Ty and Agumon's last adventure. Togemon.
Animation looks.
Oh yeah. Well, they're okay. All right, that's okay. Last evolution. So
I like how it ended.
Yeah, those are weird.
okay,
Point the music
so
going.
no, well, okay. There was actually something that a long time ago, when the first Digimon came out, it was them as like 10-year-old kids, like 10, 11 years old, and they got dragged into this digital world where they got surprised by these monsters, and these monsters imprinted on them to where they effectively became like partners to them. And then they found out that by working with them, that they actually started to trust one another, and from that they actually got stronger, and they were able to evolve into stronger and stronger monsters, sort of like Pokemon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that kinda sounds like Pokemon.
Except here's the problem: whenever they get stronger and they evolve, they eventually have to go back to their original forms.
Okay.
So whenever Pokemon evolve, that's it. They evolve up and up and up, and then eventually they get old and then they die. Whereas these creatures, they never age. And they stay the same. They stay the same pretty much throughout the whole
I
series.
used to have a little.
Digivice?
Yes, the Digivice.
Yeah,
You could go-
because instead of
but-
Pokemon, you have like a Pokeball that you store these things in. You have a Digivice that actually like tracks your experience, and it actually gets it to where they can
shake
evolve.
it and trick it, thinking then you're taking steps. And then, like, if you come upon one, you could kind of catch it. It was old school, but
Sorry.
I
Sorry.
had one that I thought was even better. It was called Scanners. And
Sorry, when you said you shake it, I was just imagining one of those shake weights.
No.
No. you do this. You can do this against the table and stuff like that.
Make it think that you're taking steps.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, but
scanners was one that was really cool because you would scan barcodes, and if you scan the right codes, it would unlock or you'd have a chance to capture a one of the monsters, and you would try to fill up your library. So I'd be at the grocery store with my mom,
literally just scanning everything.
Everything, everywhere I went.
Why not?
I was at church one time, and I was looking around at anything I could fucking scan. I went to the bathroom and they had a roll of paper towels and I'm scan.
I imagine one of the grocery store employees come to, sir, you've been here for 3 hours. Do you need help with anything? No, I'm just scanning things.
Yeah,
well,
it was what
the thing is with those,
you could hook them up and battle each other and shit. It was awesome.
The thing is, the first Digimon adventure came out in I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, and then there was a second season which evolved, went to the next next generation. 2 characters carried over from the originals, the youngest characters, and they became more like leaders in the second series. But then things got way out of hand as Digimon got more and more popular. They started doing more and more weird stuff to try and change the formula up. And eventually Digimon got to the point where it got oversaturated and it went away. But then, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, there was an announcement saying there was a Digimon Adventure Try, which is 3, and it went back to the original Digidestin, and I hadn't seen those characters in so long, and to see them get older and go through stuff as you get older, it's actually just damn, I remember going through that. That was freaking stupid. And then eventually now they're saying this is going to be the last version of these characters that we're going to see. And basically that's it. And I'm excited to see it, but I'm going to be sad. I know I'm going to be sad. All right, what's the next meme there, Nick?
For Freelancer, that one was from Freelancer. From Autistic Gamer.
Okay.
Game Grumps animation for when John Trial was still.
Oh no! Is this one? If this is one of the ones by Flannelson, I'm gonna cry because I used to watch these. No.
Sideways and under. If only this wasn't impossible and or dangerous. New world, a whole fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no
where to go.
Or that my arm is bleeding.
What?
Jasmine, shut up! Oh! It'd be so funny if she didn't say it. That's where I'm on! Jasmine, stop, Jasmine. Oh, Josh! Oh, I thought this was gonna be nice. You're ruining this. Look. We're it's so beautiful. Oh, new world. And then there's thunder and lightning in there. How do you mean like that? You mean turbulence? I can't breathe.
I remember when John was with them for the first year, and they did their first game they played was the Kirby game, and very first episode of Game Grumps, and he's just he's like, you see how I jump here, John? Yeah, you fart out your cunt. Oh shit, I said that on the first friggin' episode of Game Grumps. I ruined it. And Aaron was dying, and he could have been saved if John would have eaten him and spat him back out and gave him more health. And Aaron's running around. He's like, John, help me, John. And John's in the background laughing because he's knowing nope, not helping you. Kirby, no! Bam! He explodes and dies. It was so good, so good.
All right, what you got next?
Next,
Dutch donated $3.
Dutch.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Or cringe with Dutch fan.
Oh no.
Welcome back to Chemical Cringe with Dutch Vanderlei. Dutch, I got a meme to show you. All right, John, show us your meme.
Accidentally press R2 in combo.
This one here, this is definitely kick, my friend. Thanks, Dutch. Dutch, I also got a meme that I wanted to show you. Who had that, Arthur? Go ahead and show us your meme.
Mangoes.
This just ruining the lives of Death and Kinnick right there. Well, that's not kind of you, Dutch. No, Dutch. Don't. These memes, they're cringe, Dutch. These memes are cringe. I'll show you a real meme. Something Black Lung and Johnny Boy could never come up with in their lives. Settle down, son. All right, show me the meme, Michael. Well, Dutch, what do you think? Definitely Keck, right?
No.
It's making me cringe, Dutch. Michael, you cringy son of a bitch. Michael, that's cringe.
Bye, Micah. By the way, not the real Micah. Our Micah is the real Micah.
That was a terrible microphone.
That was called peaking the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Dutch, what do you think of my meme?
Wonder how long have
meme's
memes
cringe.
been a thing?
Memes?
I mean,
ever since the term was coined by Richard Dawkins, it's just been off to the races ever since.
But I mean, was it before the internet?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
there was definitely memes before the internet. A lot of people attribute a lot of people attribute billboards and like funny papers as like the origins of memes because you've got like for instance,
the laughies as they called it back in the day.
For instance, Garfield is considered one of like the quintessential memes of like print era because every time you see him doing like the sullen face, you know exactly what he's thinking and you attribute it to that. It's like, I hate Mondays. Yeah, exactly. And that was a lot of people considered that like one of the first like print memes that took off and became synonymous with it. And that's why cat posters, like the hang in there and stuff like that, those are memes. And
there was one that really got me. I don't know if it's a meme, but it was when I was in Florida. There, we went to a Spencer's store. We were going through a mall doing Christmas shopping stuff. And
yeah.
And I saw a shirt, and I almost got it, but it was fucking great. It says, "I'm not gay, but $20 is $20."
That's great.
I laughed my ass off when I saw it.
Nah, for me it'd be, I'm not gay, but $1 million is $1 million.
Nah.
I couldn't do it for $20. I couldn't. Not in the ass or in the mouth.
Well, yeah, obviously 20 is a little low.
But that's the funny part about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much you calling yourself a cheap hoe. Which, if I was wearing it, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a cheap hoe. All right. What's next there, Nikolai?
Next meme was donated with $30 donation by Hardy Hat, who said start at 118.
Holy
so
shit.
That means I had to go find it and put it in and make it start at 118. So next time, please put in the start time when you donate it. Everybody gets one, but next time I will not do that for you.
Everybody gets, like Spider-Man, everybody gets one. Ooh, yeah. Wait, is this... Oh gosh, is this Chaplin?
You'll see the mills at the
No.
end of it. There are 25 miles of them along the Mahoning River, and today they're busy day and night. Every 8 hours, the shifts change. 15,000 men to the shift.
Ah, good old pollution.
Yeah, we didn't know any better.
The men going to work can see the freight trains bringing in the raw material. Iron ore, coal, and limestone. This is the ore. It looks like dirt, but in a few weeks it'll become part of a ship, a tank, or a gun. And in peacetime, an office building, a bridge, or a dam structure.
Damn.
An overhead crane picks it up and carries it over to the skip hoists, which take it up to the top of the blast furnace.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, it's pulverized raw iron. Like the mineral. Oh, yeah. them curing it.
In the blast furnace, the boys smelt the ore into iron, the first step in making steel.
Mm-hmm. And then they add in the coke, and then after that.
Iron comes out at 3,300 degrees.
There it is. You gotta think about like old school, dude. Like that's how it used to be. Look at that. Valleys of hell. That's what I heard one man refer to it as. Walking amongst the blast furnace pits where they would pour the iron, raw iron out. They called it valleys of hell. They called it the valleys of hell. And
I love it in movies when they show you, like, you know, you got like a fantasy movie like Lord of the Rings or something where you're literally in a volcano.
Yeah,
like underneath
that shit is like 800 degrees inside.
Shit,
yeah,
like
it doesn't matter if you're not in the lava. The air around the lava is like 400 or 500 degrees. So
yeah,
you're basically
it's pure fantasy, dude, but that's pure fantasy.
It's like Breath of the Wild. You start walking near it, and you get up in there, and like your clothes will catch on fire and shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's more realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, literally from like 300 or 400 meters away, you're already gonna be like, okay, this is good. I'm good here.
We don't need to get closer.
Yeah, blast furnaces like that, man, they scare the hell out of me. Just how powerful that, you know, those bellows used to be back in the day. And, you know, they talk about like that over in like the British talk about it like, oh, it's like Birmingham. Birmingham was like the steel capital of Europe and all that. It's like, yeah, try Detroit, man. Try Pennsylvania. Try Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a reason why the team is called the Steelers.
This is going to sound kind of dumb. This is going to be like one of those Gavin or Google type things, whatever. The locomotives and stuff. I don't know why I never thought of this. That's smoke or steam coming out of the...
That is smoke coming out of the stack.
Okay, that's so...
Steam comes out of the whistle.
Right, and that's what's used to power the pistons on the... Okay, I was sure, because I was thinking
steam
like...
comes out through the pistons, and they pour out to pour...
So
to
the smoke is just the excess from the furnace. Okay,
Yes,
I just want,
the smoke is the excess from the furnace that is used to boil the water inside of the steam.
Because I was thinking, is like if that was like excess like steam being vented out or something, whatever. Like I'm assuming they'd have to like refill the water every
now and again. Yes, but but those boilers could go for a very long time, and they always check them after every stop. That's why that's one thing they don't show in older films. That's why you see those like water towers over top of old locomotive stations back in the day. That's what that was used for. They would have the pipe come down over top of the boiler. They would crack the thing open over top of the smokestack, and they'd pour water in, and that's basically how they would do it. And you got to think, steam locomotives.
How industrious.
Well, that's how they had to do it, man. Because back in the day, I mean, if you didn't have water inside your boiler, you pretty much just had a gigantic hot tank.
Yeah,
and you would pretty much
creating an oven.
Yeah, like that's it. That is literally it. And you look at where it's at now. You know, you've got oil and gas powered ones nowadays, and diesel ones. Diesel ones, those like I see like diesel engines and how they operate. My dad worked on a diesel. Like because he works for CSX. He actually worked on an older diesel, which
closed system, usually done with pressure.
Yeah, those are like the ones like after locomotives, but before what we have now.
Yeah, before what we have now. What we have now is probably the most economical. However, certain diesel engines are still in use because of how reliable they have been. Because they were made 50 years ago, but yet they still run flawlessly.
Like the ones today have like that platform at the front with like the flat window, like the front. But the ones that you're talking about are like it was kind of like almost like a bullet kind of look.
Yeah, those right there. Those like. As Japan was the first to really implement magnetic strips, and thus they were able to do a transportation system that can go super fast and be super stable. Whereas here in the States, what we have is we have pretty much just basic train lines that go all throughout the country, and whenever they go up hillsides, they're able to climb easier now because of how the engines are. However, how it used to be is there were actually tracks underneath that the engine would latch onto as it climbed up the hills. Because past certain inclines, you couldn't you couldn't do anything.
But because it literally just the metal is just going to slip on the metal.
Exactly, and then, of course, you had regenerative brakes, which now they have air brakes, which make things a whole hell of a lot easier because it's pretty much gigantic pneumatic pistons that just come in and just stop everything.
Train engineering. It's what's for breakfast.
Well, it's just my dad talked to me about it.
I love trains
in
in
Hollywood, and I was looking at the brake system that they have on the roller coaster, and it's like, dude, it's some pretty nice shit.
It's legit stuff.
It's soft.
I love trains as a kid. My dad would always say whenever, back when I was like a toddler, whatever, whenever we drive by a train track, whatever, and the train was going through, I'd like have my face plastered to the window, like, ooh, big metal thing.
Well,
lots of momentum.
You got to think though. I mean, as to a kid, that thing is effectively equivalent to that of a giant because it's literally pulling hundreds and millions of pounds across the country. I mean, that's an amazing feat. No matter how you want to slice it.
I like big industrial stuff. I had actually memory with my dad when it comes to giant industrial stuff, and it was a dump truck.
The big construction ones?
The big ones where like the tires, like you had to look up at the top of the tire and climb a ladder to get up into it.
Like those tires are like a few tons themselves.
Yeah, like it was like, dude, this is cool, and I got to go on a ride on that thing. It's like, we're like looking over the like ridge and everything with all the rocks. So yeah.
Oh shit!
What's up?
Dwayne Johnson's dad just died. The Rock, his dad just died. That sucks. Rocky Johnson. Yeah, soul man Rocky Johnson. Rest in peace, big man.
Was he?
Huh?
Was he an actor as well? Or something?
Yeah, he was an actor. Also, he was a longtime professional wrestler. Okay. A lot of people considered him like one of the best like pro wrestlers who never won a world championship, which is sad considering how big he was and how like crazy athletic he was. And also on the microphone, he was really good too. I mean, you wonder why The Rock's so good on the microphone? It's because of his pops.
What you got next there, Nick?
Short one for all autistic gamers. This is one of the first videos I ever watched on YouTube.
I'm frightened. Because something has to draw you into this.
Yeah, that sounds like an early YouTube.
That one.
Classic.
I remember seeing that so long ago. Oh my god. I showed it to my dad and he was on the floor. Oh, God.
I was the old cat fan. I think that was the first like internet video.
That's what YouTube was in the beginning. It was cat videos and other animals and stuff.
I remember before YouTube, I went to the website stupidvideos.com.
Stupid videos. Yes.
Yeah, that was my
That's actually where I saw that cat fan from.
Sissy. Sissy, come here.
No, he was like. I was crying
against the wall.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, is that the one where he clung onto the fan, whatever? Where he clung on it, like he was hanging on the fan.
It just rotating like paws it and his claw gets caught and it just kind of goes.
Yeah, poor little thing. All right, what's next, Nick?
Alright, next one's from Freelancer Dan with a $5.01 donation. He says, I'm holding the line against the imposter me. Also, Achievement Hunter has brought back Fails of the Week.
Hey! Finally! Oh my god!
What game series?
Probably, I don't know.
Oh
shit! Yes! Woo!
Is it that time of the week again?
Halo Fails of the Week is my favorite.
God, I remember these so well.
I need to get this.
Okay, so he's gonna go this way. This is a fly jumper level. Here we go, and Sailor Tail?
Yes.
Yeah, watch out. Yeah, watch out.
He's just like right out of the corner. He's like, oh shit.
Epic failure.
Good knowing you. Moving on, Making Another Phantom by Corp Biscuit 2, or Corpus 2. It's my favorite Nug House one, by the way, Just a Tron. Yeah. So here we go.
I'm Just a Tron.
Down there, run around. And, okay, so we got a Phantom down, he's trying to take it down. That's always a good move. Yeah. And,
Oh no!
His aim is like been horrible. He's missed every shot except for the one he lands on his teammate.
Yep.
There's a chance you'd make a lot of shots. That is true. All right, Double Bubble Trouble by the Lays Prime.
Yeah.
Great gamer tags here. Yeah, all right, dropping that bubble. Smart move. Can't be attacked. Go back up out of the bubble. Okay, here comes your brutes. Okay, just
nope.
Oh, damn.
Wham!
Once again, look around.
Surprise, bitch!
Yeah, situational awareness.
Use those eyes in the back of your head there.
None of these gamers actually serve in the military.
For one more from school. This is some luck right here, Joe. Okay. I think you'll dig this. So, oh god, run, stick, good move. Oh,
holy crap!
We got the brute with the hammer.
Brute just drops in out of nowhere.
Stick went off.
Oh, with the hammer too.
Yeah. Instant.
It's always rewarding when you get those sticks on because they're pain.
Funny as the title.
Driving around, warthog here. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh.
Oh god. Oh no. That's awesome that they're coming back to that finally. Oh my god, dude.
I miss playing Halo.
Fails of the week. I missed that.
I need to get back and watching some more RT stuff. It's been a while.
Well,
been
more
focused on
Achievement
my
Hunter,
work.
at least for me.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth, they've become kind of bland here recently, but Achievement Hunter, they're always consistently awesome. Also, did you hear it in Rooster Teeth? The lead animator for Ruby Chibi and also one of the lead animators for like the last 5 seasons of Ruby and one of the lead animators for RVB has effectively been let go of the company he was not given a reason why. They just told him they wanted him gone. And there's even rumblings that it'd suck if it's true, but Joel might be on his way out. Which, why would they fire Joel? I mean, he's been consistently like one of the funniest people working there, and he's always been very, very financially sound. He's actually their business manager, and he's done wonders for them. I mean, he turned them from he's been their business manager since the company started, and look where they started and look where they are now. So to me, that's not a very smart decision if you're going to get rid of Joel. Ever since they teamed up with Fullscreen, it's just like I've seen more.
It's gotten more of that corporate bullshit.
Yeah, and I've seen more and more people that I love. Like Patrick Rodriguez is gone. I've seen now Gray Haddock, which I had my problems with Gray, but he did do really good on. He did do really good work on Genlock and also like Ruby and all the shows he's been lead head animator on, and also the only team that hasn't really been affected by it is Achievement Hunter.
Yeah,
because even Funhouse has been affected by it, because I look at like the original 6 members of Funhouse, there's only 3 left now, because I mean hell, first Joel left, then Spool, and then Bruce, now Lawrence is gone. The only ones left are Peak, James, Adam, and Elise. Those are the only ones left. I mean, it's pretty much they're cut in half now, and that sucks because it seems as though, I don't know, they got bored with what Rooster Teeth was giving them, and they weren't given any chances to do anything. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah. Well, they'd rather take their chances as like streamers than work for a company as big as Rooster Teeth. That's kind of.
Well, I mean, when you're working for a company and stuff that has a whole set agenda on stuff that it has a schedule of stuff, budget for all the shows that it can manage. You as an individual are going to be kind of limited in your flexibility and what you can and can't do, as opposed to when you're streaming as an individual, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Really.
This is true. This is very true.
It could just be down to creative freedom. It could just be maybe they wanted to do different things. Maybe. I mean doing gaming as a full-time job, I could see where it could kind of get old.
Well,
as far as it's not as fulfilling as other careers potentially.
Maybe. I mean, Adam Sessler was a gaming critic for the better part of 20 years, and he's finally just said, you know what, I'm not doing gaming anymore.
Yeah, he does his own, he just does it whenever he feels like doing it.
Yeah. And I appreciate
last
that.
one I saw from him was the Last of Us review, and he did an hour-long, in-depth review of that, and it was awesome.
Well, he loves doing that.
Yeah.
He loves going in depth and talking about. I remember his one for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Comedic relief in X-Play, so like I don't think a lot of people took him seriously, but man, that guy knows his shit.
Yeah, he does.
Like he gets deep into it.
I remember when G4 was going downhill after they bought Tech TV and they refused to adapt to the internet.
Well, it was Tech TV, then G4 Tech TV, and then just G4, and then Cheaters came along. I was like, once they started just showing cops and cheaters, I was like, really?
Yeah.
What happened to my video game and tech network here?
Yeah, and X-Play was the only mainstay of that. Well, Attack of the Show.
Before that, it was called Screensavers.
Yeah.
They also had what was the cheat code one?
I think it was just basically called Cheat.
Yeah, was it with Kristen Stewart? What was her name?
I forget.
Yeah, no, Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, I think it was Kristen Stewart.
The girl from...
not Twilight.
Oh.
No, not her.
And they had like late night anime on...
I remember that. I loved that. They had Gungrave. They had Devil May Cry for a little while.
I mean, it was just the most ultimate nerd channel. Like, I would watch that channel all day. And
the problem is they didn't adapt to the internet. They did not adapt to putting this stuff on the internet. If they would have had, a point where they would put versions of the reviews up on like a YouTube channel at that point, that early on, dude, they could be at the precipice right now of like online video game journalism.
You start getting like prescription commercials if you were a little one and had been diagnosed with
mesothelioma.
It was like, really? Why is this on G4? Like, all commercials.
If anything, why wouldn't they have stuff for like Red Bull or fucking Mountain Dew or some fun, fun commercials?
GameStop's first commercial.
I remember that too.
Because it wasn't even GameStop in Bristol Mall. It was Software Etc. And then all of a sudden it was like I started seeing commercials about GameStop. I'm like, what the hell is GameStop?
Then you go in there one day and it's GameStop.
I was like, what is this?
Like, where'd you come from?
It was cool though, and it was an honest place. You could trade in games, get credit and stuff, and then you could trade in games. And nowadays they give you, best I can do is 35 cents for this. Like 35 cents. 35 cents.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, you got your rewards card with us. I can do 10% extra.
That was actually another place we had.
That's 40 cents.
40 cents.
That was another place we went into when we were going Christmas shopping over the break. GameStop, because I haven't been to a mall in years. I just don't go to. I have no reason to go to a mall. I was like, GameStop's still a thing.
Well, given how far you are away from one, I mean, if the Bristol Mall was still open, we wouldn't be that far from it.
Well, but I mean.
No, I'd still go to the Bristol Mall just to hang out because, hey, the food court. And,
I don't.
My friends and everything.
I love malls, but
that could have worked. I could have done that in high school, but I have no reason to go to a fucking.
Well, now there's.
I did. Hell no. I was a mall rat when I was a teenager.
Me too. Well, yeah, I'd love to go to the malls just to hang out.
Food court, hanging out with friends. We go to Spencer's. We get a Hot Topic, GameStop,
yeah,
KB Toys, Radio Shack.
I mean, when I was a kid,
all the cell phone kiosks everywhere.
When I was a kid, I loved going
and everything. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I loved going to a toy store, and in high school, I loved swinging by Spencer's and seeing all of the cool shit they had in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after high school, I was like, nah, I don't give a shit about malls. I have no reason to go.
Well, I kind of like it because it's a social atmosphere. Whereas like nowadays, plazas have kind of taken over, and now you got to pretty much you just park in a big parking lot and then walk to the store, but it's one store at a time. So like. There's no social aspect. It's like, oh yeah, meet me at the mall, meet me at the food court.
I will say this
shopping.
though.
No, now it's back to the car.
I will say this though. The one that we have, the Pinnacle, the Plaza Pinnacle.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Well, in the middle is the one that is where most of the restaurants are. So if you want to go, if you want to go to the restaurants, you park at the middle. You park in the middle and go there, and then you can walk across and go into the stores because
Yeah, Darren. Root says my mall's pretty much dead. That's happened to a lot of the malls because it started off like it was just one store at a time. I mean, KB Toys went out. Then I think GameStop was like the very last one there. And
yeah.
I saw something kind of cool to kind of give.
Stores.
I mean, it certainly diminishes its usefulness, but like one of the cool like second life of a mall when it's abandoned for like a retail and stuff. I saw I guess. Company whatever turned it into an airsoft arena
Yeah.
and stuff.
That'd be an
You could-
expensive airsoft
Oh
arena,
yeah,
though.
but it would be
Holy
cool
hell.
as shit
Oh,
to
yeah.
have that much space. To
I
work
mean,
with.
now if you had the cool owners and didn't crank the that's the thing is, even though the Bristol Mall has went completely under, it's been resold and the rent was like outrageous. It was astronomical. All they did was keep jacking it up and up and up and up, and everybody just left. Even like Sears at the time left. You know, Belt, bigger name companies.
JCPenney.
All right.
gone.
So what did Belt do? Belt built an entire new building at the Pinnacle. That is no shit like $25 million. Now, if they got a budget like that, why do they leave the mall? You know, I mean, yeah, it
So
just wasn't
it's like
making sense.
E3
Nobody's
cutting out that
tracking.
middleman.
Yeah.
If you can build your,
Now they got
own
their own
place.
building and their own place. And they
With
don't
blackjack and
Yeah.
hookers.
The whole, I mean, the whole point of the mall is to provide kind of like stores that don't want to invest in their own.
Yeah, they pay for
property and all
storefronts
of
for
the
people to come
utilities
in and
stuff.
buy. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
when you jack the price up so much that
there's no
Well,
cost benefit.
But
to
you
it.
see,
What's the point?
And you see the problem with that is that's where inflation comes in, because inflation, not having a handle on it and printing more money than how much gold we actually have in the surplus, means that inflation is going to go nowhere but up. And when inflation goes up, that means all like a rising tide affects all ships. And because the mall asked for too much money, it's because the property, what they owed in terms of property taxes went nowhere but up.
So you think like half of the stores were empty, like out of business? What did they do? Instead of, we should probably lower the price. No, they jacked them up even more.
Yep.
It's like, now that made no sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
made
Subway
none at all.
hightailed it out there.
Straight
they
putting
had,
a Band-Aid on a sucking chest one.
what did they have? Chick-fil-A hightailed it out of there.
I mean, the
pretty
mall
much
that I
everybody.
went to
was
in Florida was still doing pretty good. I mean, all
I've
their
noticed,
stores were.
I was in
still
Asheville.
filled.
Not Asheville. I was in Westtown, Knoxville, Westtown Mall, and it's still booming pretty good. And I think malls would continue to boom as long as the stores were still there. But
When I was living in
They run them
Asheville,
off.
there's two malls there because, of course, there is. One was for the Asheville like downtown area, and there's one for like the Biltmore area. And the Biltmore one that was going downhill. Asheville one, I think, is still doing pretty good.
Oh yeah.
That's because it's in the middle of everything, like all the other.
like to be honest, Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we went there when I was like 10, I think, for the first time, and then we went back when I was a teenager. But they had Legoland inside there, and they had 4 GameStops, 4 floors. It was the size of I think 2 NFL football fields or something like that. So it was massive. They had their own
like
police,
every game.
They had their own police department. Like this was
Damn.
the place
Really?
to hang out. Yeah, it's got a theme park like Dollywood inside of it. Roller coasters that literally go upside down onto the ceilings. Like
That's awesome.
It was like this. Also, like if I was a teenager and I lived in Minnesota, I would be hanging out at that mall like all the time.
I would too. Hey, Logan, where you live up that north that far, maybe you could go there.
Have you seen Jingle All the Way?
Oh,
Arnold
God.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that movie. You know the little ball pit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the Mall of America and Legoland and everything where he jumps through.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the whole crowd, like the holiday crowds and everything, like those big Black Friday events that you see, most of the time that's Mall of America. Like that is not the place you want to be on Black Friday.
Hey, Nick.
The South Park episode where there's just lakes of blood.
Yeah, and then you got that one mother who's like a friggin' warrior. She's like, suck my fat vagina, just like killing everybody. All right, what's the next meme there, Nick?
Union. $2 said, I came here to send memes and drink tea and someone stuffed all my tea in the harbour. Also, more Hell Reach reactions.
Oh, more Hell Reach. Stay tuned, my friend. They are coming soon, very soon.
Yeah, Doom Eternal. Yeah, we watched the trailer.
Girls, dodgeball sucks.
Boys. Yep.
English men in 1696.
Dodgeball was always fun.
Windows. I don't think I can afford this place. Roman Empire was solid as Italy.
Oh.
German economy. Why isn't Germany paying its war reparations? The British exist. The Irish are blow up. 300 Spartan hoplites. 6,000 plus other Greeks that also died at Thermopylae. USA puts missiles near Russia. Russia does the same. USA.
Why would you do that?
Okay. Carl the men.
Carl the Man.
No one. We the Republic of Venezuela. What happens if you photocopy money? Don't pay your tax. Why don't you come here and
make me?
First and second estate. Tax the poor. The poor. Revolution. Iran never won a war, but never lost a negotiation. Am I a joke to you? The Soviets have freed us. Oh, I wouldn't say free.
More like under new management.
OMG, these things are so useless.
Oh.
Robespierre, giving people a fair trial. To the guillotine. I love honey, but you know what I don't love? Surrendering. Spartan women when their husbands die. In-game living in a country run by a small man. This post was made by Duke the Willington Gang. Richard Nixon installing a secret audio system that documented his entire knowledge of Watergate. I too am extraordinary retarded. 6. A fish at the very bottom of the Atlantic that has no concept of what just landed next to.
Oh, I wanted to know.
Yeah, I love the missile crisis reference there, because I mean, like, literally, yeah, we're like, how dare the Russians put missiles in Cuba? How dare they? But we have missiles that we put in Turkey.
Yeah, we did.
A few hundred miles from.
Well, it was the encroachment game, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the Russians had put missiles as far up as they could at Vladivostok, pointed across to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay, we're putting missiles in Turkey, and they're like, okay, we're putting missiles in Cuba. Wait a second. No. At first, we were like, hold up. But then all of a sudden, JFK was just like, hold up. If we take these missiles out, will you turn your ships around and take your missiles back? Yes. Okay. And then that's what we did. We removed the Jupiter missiles, and they turned their missiles back around.
What if I? God damn, my throat.
Cough it up, man.
If I
need a drink?
No, I'm good. If I remember correctly, like that was even like supposed to be like a secret agreement. Like, yeah, Soviets, you better not say that we're going to take the missiles out of Turkey. We're going to do that quietly.
Yeah.
So that we don't look weak.
Well, dude, it's proxy war. It's pure shadow proxy wars. That's all it is. And it's big dick measuring contest. It's just like, our system of government's the best. Our system of government's the best. Although, one collapsed and one's still here, so I guess we know who won that fight.
But that's more of like, Darwinism, like economic Darwinism.
Well, and also pure ignorance on behalf of one side, Chernobyl. That's all I've got to say.
Oh, well, no.
I mean, Gorbachev himself said one of the primary reasons why the Soviet Union failed is because of the events that happened at Chernobyl. And why did Chernobyl happen? Because not very proper safety features and lying to themselves.
A lot of corners are cut.
Yeah, and lying to themselves. They literally not only lied to the public, they lied to themselves. Because Legasov, the head designer of nuclear one of the head designers of nuclear reactors in Russia, was told by his government to lie in Switzerland whenever it came to how dangerous RBMK reactors were. And the only reason they used RBMK reactors is because they were cheaper. That's it. They didn't care. They were looking to cut corners as much as they could because they were broke.
I want a meme where the Russians, like after we put our missiles in Turkey, the Russians put missiles in Cuba, and then you cut to an image of Greta Thunberg.
How dare you? How dare you? Yeah, as she's reading from her script. How dare you? And it's like, cry. How dare you? Yeah.
You guys bullying the girl.
How am I bullying a little girl?
Yeah, it's fine.
How am I bullying a little girl? I'm just stating the facts. Is stating the facts bullying?
She's became a meme, so
she is a meme.
Yeah.
Whether people want to accept it or not, she is a meme. And I know she's got mild Asperger's and everything, but it's kind of like redundant at this point that she complains about being a meme.
I know. I'm tired of it seems like active ignorance at this point for people that are.
Well, I don't care about Greta Thunberg. Honestly, she can cry in as many things as she wants. What has she actually done? There's one kid, though. He created a way to actually clean up the oceans for a very cheap price that would actually be effective. How much coverage has he gotten? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Is he white or is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why. I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't get any coverage. It's just, I love that kid because he's just like, yeah, here's the way to clean up the oceans. We actually have these motorized things that are solar powered, and they pretty much fishnet the entire west coast of the United States and can actually reach out as far as the gigantic plastic edifice that's out there in the middle of the ocean. Mm-hmm. And it'll basically clean it all up because what it does is it goes over and has an undernet which catches everything that's floating and has it go over top and go into
Can
these.
I show them the video?
Sure, go ahead.
I showed you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not about what you're talking about, but what you were talking about a second ago.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Without her script.
My name is
I actually saw some of this already.
Express, and this is a question for Greta. Could you please tell us what kind of message, what you are doing here today, what kind of message would you send by doing this to world leaders? And also can I ask you, do you think it's about time that President Trump would respond to what you have said today?
I think. I'm sorry, what was the first question?
What's the message you would like to
send
to our leaders?
Yeah. I think what we want to send is. The message we want to send is to say that we have had enough. And, anyone else wants to ask that question? I can't speak on behalf of everyone.
He's not asking you to speak on behalf of everyone. He's asking you.
No.
She got nervous.
And she doesn't have anything to read off of.
And she's 16 years old.
No, I know. Well, no, and I get that, but they're putting a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, no,
out there. That's not fair to her.
Don't get
She's
me wrong.
16,
it's certainly it's a weird issue.
I don't hate her, dude. I don't like. That's the thing. I just worry that effectively this is going to make her, drive her crazy because she's being dragged out in front of all these people and is being expected to be this world leader at 16, and she's still developing as a human. Like she's still mentally developing.
She really doesn't know what she's trying to fight for. They're telling her what to say. And so that's just kind of like she's being used as like a mouthpiece to garner freaking pity and everything from people around the world and stuff.
The thing is, though, it's because the reason people are looking to her is because we're not seeing anything from the people that are actually fucking running the system. And
what do
you want them to do?
Well, the thing is,
introduce better policies.
Well, they've gotten rid of a lot of the regulations that have effectively made green energy harder to develop. I mean, for the fact that they made it to where they can now excavate and make lithium-ion batteries a lot easier now. That's actually helped out Tesla make things a lot easier. And not only that, but they have also helped. They've helped Tesla big time. They've completely also released all the patents to where now anyone can develop this stuff at any given point, and all the plans are out there, and people can take full advantage of them. And
I'm just saying that shit needs to be and that's good, and I want to see better development like that. But there also needs to be better regulations on what companies can be doing with all of the waste products and shit that come out of that. You shouldn't be able to just dump that into a random river. Saves you
effectively.
15 cents.
My stepdad works for one of those resource companies and helps with manufacturing and everything. And they follow regulations. They, by law, have to. They have to provide their waste product to an official licensed waste disposal unit, and that waste disposal unit has to be approved by the EPA, which was signed in by Obama, in which they have to follow those rules, and that's something that they haven't taken out, thankfully. Now, there are companies that are doing it, but there are also other countries out there who are not following the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't...
Because
I don't,
China and India is pretty much the world's cheap labor force, and they pretty much manufacture everything for all these countries out there, these developed countries that say, oh, the United States really has to take, take a look at what they're doing. Whereas we're not even the worst. We're not even in the top 10 anymore.
Don't get me wrong. I get that aspect. I do think that there was no need for Trump to pull us out of the
Paris Climate Accords,
even though it wasn't binding and stuff like that. There weren't. It was just a set of objectives. But at the same time, I also don't. I laugh at the idea of like, well, I guess China's the leader on climate change now, or on fixing the climate crisis. Like China.
Well, here's one thing I will say about China. Here over the last 10 years. They have started to adopt more like battery-powered stuff, and they are actually trying to do more solar stuff. It's just the government won't get out of its own damn way because the government wants to have control over literally everything.
Well, and they also don't make high-quality products. So
they don't.
You'll hear about they've been building these massive solar fields, and
which also is why Tesla made 100% sure that whenever they opened up the third gigafactory in Shanghai, it was in one of the financial sectors that was not under the control of the Chinese government, and that's effectively why Shanghai is growing so fast, is because there's independent financial sectors.
Shanghai or Shenzhen?
Shanghai.
Okay.
You see, and the only reason that Tesla couldn't do it in Singapore is because Singapore is an island, and they have very limited real estate for them to work with.
It's very expensive there.
Yeah, very expensive to buy land.
And it's also sinking.
Yes.
It's sinking. They gradually have to dredge
even
up
though
sand.
Singapore has very low taxes and very few standards of regulation that they have to fight. Whereas here in the States, I was talking to a friend of mine, Jesse Miles, who's a lawyer. He's very, very smart man. And me and him had an argument and a discussion about, going from nuclear energy, how I'm all for 100% nuclear energy as long as we're properly disposing of everything and we are properly handling everything, which here in the States and in the West we are.
I can't stand the argument of like people that I get hating oil and
I get that. 100%.
I totally get that. I don't like the people who try and lump nuclear energy into that because
I hate that too.
Because the engineering prowess that's required to have nuclear energy, all of the safety systems, everything that the scares of Chernobyl and Fukushima are so they're so rare a case because so much safety has to go into the system.
Well, even Fukushima.
How many years ago was that?
Well, no. Chernobyl was 86. Fukushima was 2011. But the thing about Fukushima, a lot of people forget about this. It is a catastrophic failure that happened. However, the nuclear exposure has only caused one death so far. And it was one of the people who was in the room as the reactor popped.
Yeah.
In which when it popped, it didn't even break through the second layer.
And that was an extreme situation where a tsunami flooded.
And an earthquake.
I'm not entirely... I'm assuming it's just for the easy access of water why they built it right there on the coast. But,
they built it. They built it near the coastline because that area hadn't experienced very much. It actually was one of the least seismic activity areas in all of Japan.
But aside from the small amount of nuclear waste that you have to store at the end of it, you have to find a location and build the proper storing facilities.
Well, there's Yucca. Well, there's the Yucca Mountain facility, which they said, given how nuclear reactors are operating nowadays, they can store all the nuclear waste that is made by the nuclear reactors. They could store all of the nuclear power that could power the United States. All that would be required. They could store it in the Yucca Mountain, which is one big gigantic mountain in the middle of the Arizona desert, in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And they could store it all there for, I think they said, 400 years. Yeah. Like, to power the United States for 400 years. And by then, we may develop enough technology with unlimited nuclear energy to do the Dyson sphere. Yeah. And, I mean, it's called raising from the atomic level to the post-singularity level. But Once you get post-singularity, that's it.
But aside from that small amount of nuclear waste that gets, put in storage. There's nuclear energy is perfectly clean.
Yes.
It's just steam that's coming out of those vents. And
we need to take that shit and launch into space.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, hey, why don't we just shoot that into the sun?
Well, that's the thing. You see,
but that's a cost factor.
Well, no, the cost factor has actually gone down a lot because guess what we get back whenever we launch shit into space now?
Yeah,
we get the rockets back.
Yep.
And the only thing that has to be done is more fuel, in which...
So we can get launches for a lot cheaper, but still, it's a lot of tons of.
But by comparison to what they launch up there already, you see the amount of nuclear waste that was made back in the 80s versus made now. I mean, it's effectively comparing what would fit into this bottle, what will fit into this cap. This is what was made in the 80s. This is what is made now. And this right here is not that bad. This right here, you can actually store.
It's a lot easier to...
Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's a lot higher concentrated. But to concentrate the waste from something this size to something to the size of this cap within 30 years, that's amazing. The fact that they've gotten to that level is amazing. And who's to say they won't get to down like, I don't know, say like a fingernail size or a BB.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, like the I-tier fusion reactor, and I think in France is already, it's like nearing completion.
Yeah.
And they're looking, I think this year, 2020, they're aiming to do their first, I think it's like first burn or first fusion as well.
Well, yeah, the first fusion fission.
So
reaction.
I mean, in 10, 20 years, we could, they always say fusion is 30 years in the future and always will be. No. It's very much close. It's definitely
closer now than it's ever
on
been.
The horizon for sure.
Well, Einstein said it was possible, and with the theories that have come out here recently from the nuclear physicists who've been working on these, especially the French ones, because the French never stopped developing nuclear energy, and now more than 80% of the energy that France has is nuclear based. That's one thing a lot of people forget to mention. France is 80% nuclear, and they have the lowest emissions in all of Europe.
See, like Germany,
Sweden, better than Germany, better than the UK, better than anywhere.
I think after Fukushima, like that in Germany, they decided to close down all of their nuclear plants. And it's like
because
they're
panic.
shooting themselves in the foot because they don't have any other natural resources.
They don't.
Like fuel, so they have to import it like from Russia, and so Russia. I mean, again, I don't like Trump for a lot of reasons, but
I don't like.
There are certain things that do coincidentally line up with what he says as far as now Germany is dependent on Russia, and that gives them a bargaining chip.
They are. I mean, Russia is basically being they're suckling Germany right now because Germany is afraid to use nuclear energy because they don't want an incident like Fukushima. But the problem is Fukushima happened because Japan, love it or hate it, is on 4 fault lines. It's in the middle of 4 tectonic plates right there off its coastline. So it stands to reason that there's going to be a lot of geological problems. Whereas Germany is in the middle of Europe. There has not been a recorded massive earthquake in Europe in 1,000 years?
Yeah, it's fairly inactive.
The fault lines in Europe are dead, pretty much. And
I mean, you do have Africa slowly.
Well, slowly, but that's near the Mediterranean. That's down near the Mediterranean coast.
Well, the Alps are what?
Well, the Alps. No, the Alps. That fault line died out. That was when Italy. That was when Italy combined because the Italian plate was originally right below Slovakia, and then it very slowly formed up and pushed up into the European plate, and now it's part of the European plate because the fault lines have effectively combined and stopped.
Now we're talking about geology, man. We are all over the place.
Well, and it's just like the Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains used to be their own separate fault.
I always found it cool. Like when I heard about it, the Appalachians have been around for like 500 million years.
Yeah, we're the oldest mountain chain in the world, dude. We are the literal oldest mountain chain in the world, right in the middle of it.
That's pretty cool.
And our mountains used to be over 20,000. Well, no, our mountains actually used to be over 20,000 feet tall, but due to the natural state of erosion and everything, by the standards of which it's gone, our mountains, the highest one now is like 6,000 feet, which it just goes to show you. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of panic mongers out there who say, the fault line could reactivate at any time, and the Appalachian Mountains could experience a large earthquake, the likes of which we've never seen before. Yeah, and guess what else could happen? A meteorite could come down and destroy everything on the planet.
Or Yellowstone could go off. Yeah,
that's another thing too.
Yeah, there is some.
God.
I love
many theories.
I love that thing in Horizon Zero Dawn where in the DLC where it's, I guess, humanity had set up a system to diffuse Yellowstone. I was looking into something like that for some little backstory thing of mine.
You just don't need an umbrella and some good old fireproof boots?
No, well, like diffusing it as in like cooling the magma under Yellowstone Park. But I was looking into stuff about that, and apparently it's there's no indication that Yellowstone is actually ever going to go off.
No, there's
all the fire
it's the
department.
theory.
It's out of
It's
control.
It's you see. All of this stuff that we talk about, with fault lines that could go at any time, and the super volcano that could form at Yellowstone Park, this is all theoretical stuff. And it could happen, but there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Hell, our very understanding of physics could be turned on its head. And, a lot of physicists say lightsabers are impossible. But here's the thing. That is with our understanding of physics as we have it now. And if our understanding of physics versus what is completely out there changes within the next 100 years, which it may very well.
I saw lightsabers on TV, and I know they got them. I know.
No. That's not what I'm saying. You see, the whole thing is how we understand physics and how things work on the physical plane as we're able to perceive it is one thing. However, as our scope widens out, as science and technology take off more and more, and we leave ourselves open to these theories that light may not work the way we say it does because we don't fully know everything about light.
I've read Brian Greene's books before.
I just want to have faster light travel.
Well,
I don't want us to be trapped here in this system.
Well, we are going to be trapped here for a while, at least for our generation. But I'd say in the next 200-300 years, we are probably going to experience a post-singularity moment where we realize, okay, so faster than light travel is possible. We just have to figure out...
Create a fucking black hole or some shit.
By doing that, though, by creating a wormhole that can effectively take us from one point to the other...
That's how the plot to fucking...
Interstellar.
No. I was going to say Event Horizon.
Plot to a lot
Yeah. Well,
it's a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Hell.
Yeah, they did. Which, it's the same thing with friggin' Interstellar. Interstellar, it was a singularity event that appeared behind. Was it behind Saturn?
It was yeah.
It was a wormhole.
It was a wormhole that appeared behind Saturn, and it took them to a completely different quadrant of the universe.
Which was kind of cool though, because it took them like 2 years just to get there to Saturn. Like because there was still it's still normal science as far as. They leave Earth and I guess they just go into hibernation, like cryosleep for 2 years. And
I just love how it displayed relativity, especially like when they got to the big wave planet, for every hour was like what 7 years. 7 years.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And the thing is with that, they were able to. They actually the equation that the physicists that they got to help them develop the film. The equation that they got for the singularity event, Gigantor, the gigantic black hole the supermassive black hole we see in the film, that was actually submitted into a computer program. They didn't know how it was going to look or anything like that. And when they programmed it in, they got Gigantor. They got that exact look. And that is now part of physics as we understand it right now. That is part of theoretical physics, and that was spawned from that movie, which is unbelievable.
They said, typically in the movie that was a very, very, very tiny black hole.
Yeah.
Compared to a supermassive one, because a small black hole is still like 10 billion times of the sun.
Yes.
And then
it swallows our universe.
Yeah, I think the supermassive ones are like fucking billion, quadrillion, fucking.
Well, you're talking about basically you have your standard black hole that forms from a hypergiant star when it collapses. Those are your normal ones. Those are usually 5 to it depends. I think it's like 20 stellar masses or higher.
Yes,
will collapse, and it'll basically be that massive.
And
then you have the supermassive black holes, which are typically the center of galaxies. Those are like billions of.
Which you know how those are formed, right? Those are all the other black hole singularities, all coming towards one another, encircling, and then combining.
Right.
And thus, with that, you get starquakes. Which, when you read about how powerful starquakes are, that is astounding. When you hear, because it actually warps space and time. Mm-hmm. That is how powerful they are.
A ripple.
That was some that we last year.
We recorded a ripple. Yeah, that was predicted.
It was about a year or two ago.
Yeah, it was cool.
I know they said like this one little sketch a thing that went off on the detector would change like science forever. And people was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah,
like,
I think people cared more about seeing the actual image of a black hole than they did about the.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is.
People like
it's much
pictures.
more scary. We've
been
the monster or an actual evidence of its power, and it's like, oh.
So okay, we've been ranting and raving now. Let's get back to the memes. How many we got left, Nick?
6.
Oh,
6
give them to me, baby.
For an hour.
40 minutes.
50 minutes.
Oh God.
Let's burn.
Yeah, let's burn through these and get these out.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I get you.
Critical Hunter donated $3. So if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
I guess I'm not happy.
No.
You're never happy.
I didn't clap.
Okay, so
If
two
you're
clap.
happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Dude, that was like.
Oh, hell yeah. So the next one is from Bob Wolf.
Bob Wolf.
I'm sorry.
Wolf wanted to debut this on the podcast.
Woo! Oh,
No.
Wolfie, don't, Wolfie, please. Go ahead. I'm just joking.
I don't think this is going to end well. This is going to hurt. So we're going to jump right in.
Out of context.
To you laddies, it's the Renegades, and we're back to watch some more Best of Jacksepticeye number 2.
All I can say is, yeah. It was a yeah.
What the fuck did you do to your hair?
That was when I dyed it green 2 Christmases ago.
Oh, okay.
I like the stack of Dr. Pepper cans bigger.
That was Ben.
Are you charging up right now? Like
yes, I am. I'm charging up for a fart.
Super mode.
Oh my goodness. We got ice cream. We didn't bring enough to share. Sorry.
The left-handed salute.
As seen in every terrible action movie.
Well, here's the thing about that. I salute the communist flag purely out of the meme. I do not believe in communism. It is
I'm
terrible.
not afraid of them. Fully understand their vicious killing machines. Once again, return of the last day it is.
I like Chad Perry.
Slav bis. Bumpar bus.
Visibly white.
Yes. We are white.
2 pupils if you asked me for a hamburger, but it turns out I don't really exist. Where I was originally standing, a picture of a hamburger rests.
Somebody learned the achromatic effect in After Effects.
That would be Wild Wolf. That would be our one of our editors. Yeah. Thank you again, Wild Wolf. You the man.
More of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's good shit.
Next Mimi.
Next one is from the Lone Logan. So just felt like donating
The Lone
while I was here. So I just picked a video from a recent history.
World's dumbest brawlers. Oh Lord.
He's getting his income tax in.
Michael has decided to play a prank on his father by mocking up a fake letter from the IRS.
Oh no.
I feel like that's a crime.
Dude, you relax. It's important and you need to read it.
Go give it a ball.
Oh good. He's angry just about the concept of receiving mail. I'm sure this will end well.
No. No. Did you do my taxes right?
I don't know how to work TurboTax.
Did you? They're holding on the money.
Yeah, I know.
They're only by the
You tell me my beer brand was right off. It's not a right off. I'll kill you.
Here we got boy. Get back. You mother.
Oh no.
Fuck.
Damn it, Grandpa.
What are you?
Oh, that'll show the IRS. You'll be wearing wet clothes from now on. Damn you.
And it hurt.
This is like Michael. That's like Micah when he's 90-some-odd years old.
Why are they letting him just continue?
Somebody please tell him. Somebody please tell him now. Joke's over.
Relax. It was a prank.
You're about to get a hammer in the head.
More like a crowbar to the noggin.
I got murdered from that one.
Yeah, if we pulled that on Micah, I guarantee you he would kill us, and he'd burn the house down to cover up the evidence.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy either.
I wouldn't either, man.
Like, oh,
You don't mess with the IRS because they'll mess with you.
I feel
your
like
life.
making like a forged document from the IRS would land you in prison for like.
That's
a year
if
or something.
that's if the IRS catches
Well,
you.
actually, they do that shit all the time with them damn phone calls. Those fake phone calls. My mom called me at one time. Jacob,
Hello,
I
we
got
are
a
from the
question.
IRS, and we are calling
I
to
got a
tell you
phone
that you
call
owe
from the
$3,000 to the IRS,
Yeah.
and if you pay right now, you will not be charged with a crime of tax evasion.
I said, Mom, did you let the IRS ain't gonna be calling you like that? I said they use that old system. It's called snail mail.
In that situation, just ask. All right, sir. I noticed you have a Pakistani/Indian accent.
no,
if you
no,
could
no,
go ahead
I
and
would-
if you could go ahead and list off the 50 states of the United States. That'd be
Well,
awesome.
Sure. New York
I'd
City,
counteroffer.
Los Angeles, Houston, Texas,
Hollywood,
Detroit, Hollywood.
I would counter offer him and ask him if he knew that his car's warranty was expired because I have a great opportunity.
Sir, are you aware that sir, are you aware that your car's warranty is expired? I do not own a car. I have a cow.
Call now, donate now, and get prices.
Get
The thing is, like, I actually
give them a
they get really fucking confused. Like if they try to call you and they're like, your car warranty is expired. I'm like, I don't have a car. They're like, what do you mean you don't have a car? I'm like,
You're American.
I
You
don't
should
own
have a car.
Fucking car.
Don't all Americans have cars?
Well, I don't know.
Most my car, so clearly they're not going to be calling me about the car that I drive. So.
I receive calls about my truck. There's like, we are aware that your Toyota is now eligible for a extended warranty.
I'm like, good guess that I drive a Toyota, but you're still full of shit.
At this point, I don't even get angry at the calls anymore. I'll answer it. Hello, and just like. I'm just not. I'm barely just like not even listening. I'm just focusing on what I'm doing and just wait for it. Okay, and
I hate when they like interrupt my I'll be sitting there listening to a podcast or something, and then they'll like interrupt my phone. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Hello.
Actually, come to think of it, since I told the one dude that I don't have a car, they haven't called me back.
Good.
Call again.
Yeah.
Good.
Makes sense.
Maybe I need to do that.
What's the next
Just tell me
meme?
you don't fucking have a car. Alright, the next one's from Hardy Head. He said, sorry about making you manually start the vid. I'm not good with computers. It's all good. Here's a funny vid to make up for it.
Uh-oh. Ba-da-da-dum.
And now, the nations of the world. Brought to you
Oh,
by
Count Dankula.
Yes. Thank you. Chelsea just cheap labour, alcoholism in that place that has all the rice. Filthy cockroaches and thieving wee gypsies in the place that got fucking nuked twice. The rental scooters and edgy school shooters and the one with the the one where it's sunny, the one with no money and the one that is counted.
One with no money.
Muslims and Muslims and Muslims and Muslims and also that one with the Jews. All of the Slavs that remove the kebabs and the ones that can't poo in the loo. Democrat backers and those pesky hackers, the one with the terrorist attacks, really hot warming, the one with the famine and the one that want white people back. The boys boomerang chuckers and that one that is really small, the mafia black metal, a fat guy we knew still, the fucking wall, AIDS, the one where they all touch kids, the one that has a really funny name and the one that can suck my dick.
Count Dankula. Ever since that guy
In that video, that one that can't fight a painting had me crying. That got the reverse racism one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was crying laughing at that.
Ever since that guy got sent to court over the fact that, for a joke, as part of a joke, he had his girlfriend's dog trained.
Yeah,
he trained it himself.
Oh yeah, is that was that guy?
That's him.
Oh man,
and
that was so stupid. Like,
yeah, it is. It's a joke.
It's a dog, dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, he's an edgelord. We got to teach him a lesson. He taught a dog how to say hi, to salute every time he yells Heil Hitler.
Honestly, like it's gotten to the point where like by like tying like the swastika, for instance, right? Like making that a symbol of like, oh, swastika, clearly you're a white supremacist, blah blah blah. Tying that to Nazis and stuff is almost insulting to like the swastika and stuff, and giving more legitimacy.
Where it originally came from, it's Buddhist.
Yeah, I mean it's a Eastern. It's used across a lot of Eastern Asian cultures.
Not only that, but a bald head. The fact that anytime someone sees someone with a bald head, they're just like, that guy's obviously a white supremacist. Yeah. A bald head. I mean, put two and two together. And then all of a sudden, I remember the one that was at I forget what event it was. This one guy who was just like, yeah, they're associating with neo-Nazis over there. It's like, which one's a neo-Nazi? The bald guy right there. You don't see him? I mean, honestly, he's got a bald head. He's at a right-wing event. Put two and two together. And the guy's just like, hey, man, can you come over here real quick? Yeah, this guy right here, he was actually wondering, why you're rocking a bald head. And the guy's just like, I have alopecia, which I got by serving in Iraq. Bomb blew up next to me, and thus instead of my hair going white, I actually went bald on certain parts of my head. Smooth as a baby, and it's a nerve condition that I can't help. And I shave my head instead of having streaks in my hair. That's why I do it. And the guy who thought he was a neo-Nazi then like put his head down and just walked off. It's like, what an idiot.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. It's like if you take that,
unless that book
away
is on
from
fire,
him,
then you know he's a metalhead.
Like the same thing with kind of like the Confederate flag, I guess, but different. Not exactly the same, because those are different things. But like giving not like white supremacist stuff, giving them the swastika, like they get to have that is almost it legitimizes them. If you take that away, they don't have a symbol to rally around. For their hate and stuff.
What's their symbol? Adolf Hitler? I mean, a gigantic poster with Adolf Hitler's face on it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, everyone's just going to look at that and be like, that guy's mustache looks stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look at this.
Is that Charlie Chaplin?
What's next?
Next meme.
All right, freelance band is last word day because I'm happy. Okay.
Oh, no.
Hey, I know. I'll use my trusty frying pan as a drying pan.
Yep. Damn it, Brock.
Bruh. Next.
I thought Sokka's jokes were bad.
No, Sokka's jokes could be funny every now and
then. He said, Nate, did you ever open the duct tape package from July?
It's still on the table.
Didn't he say there were perishables in that? Like,
did he?
Times he's told you that?
Maybe. We'll see.
you're gonna open that up with a whole bunch of mold.
Yeah, maggots just gonna come flying right out. Although it's vacuum sealed, it'd be very difficult.
I don't get that. Like sometimes you'll just open something and there's maggots in it. Like this was a sealed container. How did they just fucking magically appear?
I don't know.
Like, how did flies get in here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Play it now.
One of my all-time favorites, but the music sounds like shit. Compared to the Super Nintendo version.
That's Eugene.
Hey, listen, it was the 90s. Audiophiles were hard, okay?
There's shit there's no excuse for, though. Like the PC port of Final Fantasy VII
is expensive.
Has fucking awful fucking music, and the PlayStation version has like beautiful sounding music. Like, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah, that one
to a better machine.
Yeah. Well, that one I don't quite understand, but that one right there, the 32-bit extender for that thing is expensive.
Well, not only that, but also the sound chip that the SNES had was made by Sony, and that was actually what caused them to have the biggest advantage over Sega. And that's actually what that whole sound chip thing is what caused the console war between Nintendo and Sony for the longest time, because the man who made the audio chip was Ken Kutaragi. Ken Kutaragi, the same man who made the PlayStation.
Hey,
see.
What's up?
1 hour ago from quartering, MXR plays, wins, Jukin Media is defeated.
Oh shit! Woo!
So apparently they've figured
Yeah.
out something.
What I heard. What has that been going on?
Okay, I'm gonna release our video about MXR plays and Jukin Media tomorrow.
I don't know either.
Okay,
people, so I don't know.
No, I know I am late on it.
Give me the synopsis.
Okay, so the synopsis is MXR Plays is a channel where they've started doing reaction videos and all that, and in those reaction videos, they have like stuff and clips that are said to be owned. They're licensed by Jukin Media. Well, here's the thing. Fair use makes it to where anything that is used in a aspect to where it is transformative enough to be separate on its own, you actually don't have to pay a licensing fee. Whereas Jukin Media, on the other hand, ascertains that if they own it, they deserve money from it. Even though they themselves did not make the clips, they just go to people who make these who have these clips done, like Vines, TikToks, and all that, and they tell people, hey, if you sell that clip to us in the commercial capacity, we'll pay you for it, and we'll license it out to people in the future. Now, that counts for, say, like news outlets, like official clip shows and stuff like that, but reaction videos and stuff like that where your clips make up a very infinitesimal amount of the entire video, and, your video is basically being used to make us laugh in some way. We're not officially stating we own the clip or anything like that. We're just stating that we own the video of us laughing at your clip, and we show it as reference. Now, Jukin Media, as tried to extort these people, because in order to buy one clip, it costs you $50.
No, fuck.
Yeah, you pay $50 for a 7-second clip. Yeah, fuck you, Jukin. Anyway. They used to claim videos all the time and just like take all the revenue from it. I didn't like that, but at the same time, it's better than a strike. Instead, they've been striking videos on certain channels and have pretty much been blackmailing people and saying, hey, you don't want another copyright strike, right? Well, we can copyright strike you right now and completely like kill your channel. But
it sounds like a company.
But unless you give us like $6,000.
It sounds like a company that's failing and is looking for means to make more money.
It's extortion, is what
it is.
It's a bunch of scam artists that are extorting money from people, and they're using a broken system to try to strong arm people into sending them money. It's fucked up that YouTube's not doing anything about it.
Yeah, where's the surprise there?
Anyways, if we could start wrapping up, I would very much.
Yeah, is that all the memes?
Is that all the memes?
All right, well,
reasons I need to.
Yeah, there's a reason we need to get back as well. Quinn's messaging me right now.
Oh, what about?
Star Wars, dude.
Are we doing that tonight?
Yeah.
Quinn
said every Wednesday.
What are you doing tonight?
Oh, I didn't hear that memo.
Oh.
What are you doing tonight?
Star Wars: A New Hope. Quinn's never seen any of the Star Wars movies.
Oh shit! This is the first one that you started with?
No.
Okay.
We did Rogue One.
Oh, okay. No. I kind of All right. That works. I guess we talked about this last week, so we don't need to hash it again. We'll let Nick get out of here and get some food. So.
But anywho.
Nick.
Yeah. Sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning into this. Thank you for all the memes, and we hope that we didn't scare you off with all of our like grappling hook talk of like going from conversation to conversation. So hopefully you weren't scared off.
It's
by
called
that.
Renegade Ramble. You came here. Yeah, you signed up for this.
Yeah, for a reason it's called that. Parkour. Conversation parkour. Yeah. So again, everybody, thank you all very much for tuning in. So signing off. I'm Nate. Okay.
He's Roan.
I'm Roan. You're supposed to say.
You're supposed to.
It traditionally goes like. We should start down here and work this way.
It goes you, then him, then I.
Okay.
So that's how we've done it for like the last 2 years.
Okay. I'm Nate. That's Jacob. That's Roan. That's Nick. Shut it off. We're done.
Jesus.